So today I'm going to be talking about some of the challenges we're seeing in the economy. Are you being held to ransom by the economy? This is really the a question that we've been talking about. So I'm going to go through, and I'm really going to be starting to talk about how we can leapfrog some of these roadblocks using innovative tech. So let's jump into it. So, what do I mean by that? Well, look, what we're going to be talking about is how we can use this technology and innovative tech to be able to change our path. We're going to be facing these roadblocks, and we want to leap over those. So, before we jump into that, who's Andy Prosser? Who am I? Well, I've been in the game for about 30 years. I've been working in the tech industry. I founded a company called Executive Technologists. And fun fact, I used to, being a mining engineer, so I used to dig holes and blow stuff up, right? But now I describe myself as a Microsoft 365 coach. Um, and this is kind of the area that I focus on. It's really about around Microsoft 365 as a platform and a system that you can use to do lots of cool things with. It's one of those things that we find it very, very powerful, and it allows you to leapfrog those economic roadblocks if used well. But I'm also this guy, right? And what I mean by this guy, what I mean by this guy is, the no BS tech translator. And I've been doing a lot of presentations about that. The goal here is really to break things down for people who aren't techies and make it more accessible. And to give you an example, and this is something that might stick in your mind the next time you're about to click send on an email. And the thing is with email is it's pretty much the same as walking out your front door naked. Anyone who chooses to look knows all about your junk, right? So next time, before you click send, just think about that because it's not secure, it's not encrypted, and you need to be careful about sending that information this way, right? But we do it all the time. So just remember that little trick. Next thing is, so executive technologists, what are we about? Well, we're a Microsoft 365 coaching and advisory business. We also provide managed services for our clients. But I've been working in the game, as I said, for about 30 years. The focus of what we do is really about this enterprise style, this enterprise foundations, but delivering it on a small business budget. That's the important thing. So you get all the thinking, all the initiatives, and all the ideas that the big corporates, manage every single day or deal with every single day, and are used to, but now it's available for everyone. So who have we worked with? Well, look, there's going to be lots and lots of people that you can see on here. There'll be some logos that you recognize, other ones that you don't. Some of our current climates, some of previous organizations we've worked with. So let's go back to the question at hand. Are you being held to ransom by the economy? It really is a good question. But what can we do about it? And there's lots of things we can do, but the first thing we need to do is to get creative. We need to sort of think outside the box, as they say, and look at different opportunities and ways of solving these problems. Because let's face it, anytime you got a roadblock in front of you, that's an opportunity to grow, to explore, to try something different. It's only when we hit these immovable objects that we look for ways around. And that's what we're facing in the economy at the moment. So how are we going to leapfrog these economic roadblocks with innovative tech? Well, first off, let's talk about what it means. It means using technology in unique and different ways. You've probably heard of Amazon or even Domino's trying to use drones and other technology to be able to deliver their products. And these are sort of more advanced views of that, but there's so many different things about that. Take Uber, for example. Everyone thinks Uber is a tech company and it was tech that's managed them, of why they became who they are. No, the difference with Uber is what they did is they looked at a problem, and using technology that we had available at the time when they started to form, we used those insights, we used that technology to create a unique product. We changed the transaction and the way things are transacted, with your with that whole experience of getting a ride from A to B. And we changed that experience from what we used to have from the old taxi industry. But here's the thing we need to remember. It's not something we can avoid anymore. We live in a connected world. Everything is connected. You've lived through COVID. You know that. You know the experience, and just being on Zoom calls and all this, we've got teams spread all around the world, with virtual assistants and such like, and we work with people globally. So tech is no longer optional. It's part of the very fabric of your business. So you need to learn to understand how to unlock its potential. But there's a problem. You might not be good at tech, and that's okay. That is completely okay. Once you acknowledge that and saying, I'm not good at tech, you look for opportunities of how to overcome that. But the first thing you need to be aware of tech is that you need to have your foundations right. There's nothing worse than trying to focus on the building your penthouse to your business when the concrete of the basement has yet to cure. Skyhooks don't work quite as well as you think they do. There's a lot of things you need to build in place to ensure that your building, your business, is structurally sound to take on all these new things. The same with technology. You want to go really advanced? If your basic stuff isn't working, it's just going to fail. And to do that, what we can do is I've put together a really quick little quiz that you can run through, and it's going to ask you a few questions, which hopefully will get you thinking about some of those foundational elements that you need to work on, just to ensure that it's doing what it is that you need to do, right? So once you've got these foundations, then we can start that whole foundation stuff. But here's a little tip. There's only two core platforms that really matter. You're either Team Google or Team Microsoft. And I'm talking about in terms of your emails, your file storage and structures and systems and where you store all that sort of stuff. Pick one. And it doesn't matter which one, right? But pick one of those two platforms. There are others out there and you can play with those ones, and that's cool. But these are the two game-changing, industry-leading platforms that everyone is using. And then build your business around that platform. You know, if you pick Google, pick solutions that play nice with Google. If you pick Microsoft, pick solutions that play nice with Microsoft. It's that simple. And that's where you build your foundations from. Now that we've got that bit done, the next thing we want to do is start designing. How do all these things come together? What are all of the different elements you need? Where are the gaps? What systems do you need to bolt on or add? And here's the next thing. When you're starting designing, we need to think about where the innovation is going to be, what innovative tech you're going to have. And the simple thing is when you're thinking about this, think about these three key areas. Is this piece of technology going to help reduce my cost? Is it going to help improve experiences? Or is it going to open new markets for it? If it doesn't do one of those three things, then chances are it's a foundational element. We have a different conversation. But it should be supporting your business in a different way. This is about the front end, innovative stuff that is going to change your business and the experience of your customers, your partners, and your employees. This is where the innovation in the innovative tech is. So, reducing cost. Really, We should be looking at how we're going to reduce human interaction or seeking ways to consolidate systems. There's a thing about having too many systems that every system you add to your business is increasing your risk of a cyber incident or a loss of data or any other thing by orders of magnitude, right? Every additional system is increasing risk. You increase risk, you're increasing cost, you're increasing complexity, so we want to try to consolidate. But also look at trying to automate things as much as possible. The next one is when we talk about improving experiences. And I don't mean just improving the customer experience. We all know we've got to look after the customer and make them feel really appreciated and giving them everything else that they want to be able to have and all that sort of stuff and really making it cool for them. But don't forget about your employees. Your employees will be the fastest ones to tell your customers, even directly, indirectly, just by what they say when you're on a call with them, of how bad your systems are. Right? You've been on a call to a call center, and the agent turns around and says, "Oh, sorry, I just have to switch in between systems. Oh, can I put you on hold, etc." What are you thinking at that moment? You're thinking, "Oh, wow, this organization doesn't invest in this. They're not creating good experiences. They're not innovating." So, innovate and create good experience for your customers, but don't think about your employees. And there's another cohort that we need to think about, and that's your partners. How can we create better experiences for your partners so they want to do business with you versus one of your competitors? They want to be able to work with you because it's so easy. They want to give you more work. They want to support your business, etc., because you've created such a great experience for them to be able to work with you. And finally, opening new markets. We talked about Uber and creating something that new, unique, that no one else has done. You know that with Uber, it took over 18 months for their closest competitor to catch up to what they launched to the world. It was so unique, it was so different, and it wasn't the technology that did it. The technology helped, but it was the idea. They flipped the whole customer experience on its head. They put the customer in the driver's seat. You controlled and you could see where your driver was at any time before they showed up. You showed up, the person greeted you by name. They knew who you are. You could identify the car. You knew how long it would be before they would show up. And they show up and greet you by name. They welcome you into their vehicle. They take you where you need to go. You get out the other end and you say, "Thank you very much." Done. All the other transactional aspects of that rideshare, of that ride, is hidden behind the scenes because they were smart enough to keep it as simple as possible. But this created such a unique market and changed the way we thought about this that everyone is now trying to recreate the Uber effect. So think about that when you're talking about new markets. How can you change the conversation, the experience that opens up a new market that your nearest competitor is going to take months or years to catch up on you? But here's the thing. Your idea does not have to change the world. It doesn't have to be awe-inspiring or Airbnb or Netflix-like or Uber-like. It doesn't matter. Sometimes the smallest change has the biggest impact. The smallest change has the biggest impact, especially when you do lots of them. Just by changing the order of something or removing a step out of a process could be so innovative and so different in the way you do things that it saves minutes, hours, days of time, or just gets rid of a pain point. But sometimes tech or something comes along that does change them. Just in a mind-blowing way that we cannot grasp. The first experience we had this was back in 2007 when Apple launched the first iPhone. We didn't know it at the time, but within a very short space of time, everyone would be carrying around a little device that looked like that device, that phone, that smartphone, that gadget you carry around in a pocket. And it's so impactful on your daily life that if you walk out your front door without it, you'll naked. And what I'm talking about, OpenAI's ChatGPT. Everyone is talking about it. I don't care who you are. Everyone is talking about this. And it is changing the way we think about everything. Now, here's a little tip about AI. AI is going to change the world, but not the way you think it is. It's not by you interacting with it directly. It's going to be subtle, and it's going to feel like magic. It's going to be behind the scenes, etc. So watch the players out there that are integrating this technology into their products and every product that you use every single. AI might be the tech, but how it's used is what's going to change the world. What I mean by it, it's this. You don't have to have really groundbreaking tech to innovate. That's not the point. You do need, but great tech can help bring that to life. It's about bringing those ideas to life. Remember I talked about Uber? Uber had a groundbreaking idea, and they used tech to enhance it and make it real. Without the smartphone, Uber could not exist. Right? Their idea couldn't exist. The only model that was sustainable or could work was the old taxi model. You find a phone, you call a call center, they'll say, we'll dispatch a taxi, they'll be there someone soon, right? That was how things were done. The smartphone allowed us to change everything. Great tech came in that allowed us to bring that to life. And the real magic behind all of this is that it's your ideas are the most powerful thing out there. More powerful than the technology itself. As I said, the technology is just going to bring it to life. And those ideas are what will help you leapfrog any economic roadblock. Anything that gets in your path, you can find a way around it by those innovative ideas. You're going to start somewhere, right? So start with your 1,000 paper cuts. Right? These are the little things that you do every single day. Right? You do every single day. And when you solve one minor annoyance, and you do that over and over again, it has a compounding effect. Keep solving those little things. Every time you context switch, you switch from one activity to another, you disrupt your flow. Don't disrupt that flow. Keep it moving. Keep it transforming, etc. So go and look at those little things. If this happens, I do this. If this happens, I do this. If this, then that. If this, then that. Look for as many of those as possible and see if you can automate it, outsource it, do whatever you can, but make it go away so you don't have to think about it. And your innovations, they will save time. They will reduce friction and they will create opportunity. But most importantly, they're going to help you reduce costs, improve experiences, and open new markets. The 1,000 paper cuts is where you start. Those will highlight and get you comfortable and used to solving ideas on a regular basis, on a daily basis. You're constantly solving problems. Every now and then, a big idea will come along. And then you can deliver that because you're so used to the experience of making change. But remember, Technology alone is not enough. You can't go and buy the latest, greatest CRM tool and go, sweet, we're done, we're perfect, we're on our way. You need to combine it with these innovative ideas. You need to solve problems. You need to overcome these roadblocks to be able to get somewhere. Tech and ideas is where the magic happens. So, who's excited about the future? I know I am. AI, machine learning, 3D printing, blockchain, if I dare say it. There's so much stuff happening, and it's happening at such a fast rate that it's hard to keep up. Be wary of looking at this new, cool, shiny thing. Watch out for it, especially if you haven't got your foundations down pat, you haven't got your foundations right. Without those foundations, then all the cool, shiny stuff is just going to derail you, distract you, and cause you more harm than good. But once you have your foundations, once you've got your 1,000 paper cuts under control, once you're solving these things regularly, then we can start leaping faster. We can start taking advantage of all this cool tech. We can start diving into what's possible and do things differently. And if this is something of interest to you, jump on, book a conversation, tell me I'm wrong, ask questions, whatever it might be. I'd love to hear from you. But at the very least, I'd love you to find me on LinkedIn, come and say g'day, and follow along. I post videos regularly there, or you can just Google my name. I'm all the ones on the front page except the actor. Thanks very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that presentation. I know I really enjoyed that too. Cannot wait to see what innovation you can use, and innovative ideas you can come up with and combine it with great tech to create some true magic.